I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you near, in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares too. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh.
Yo, what's up, guys? How are you? Welcome back. David, what's up, man? How are you? I figure, let me just see. I might be a little loud. All right, that might be a little bit better. I figured I'd just give you guys some of my pre-live stream vibes there with the music and stuff. I'm always just sitting here getting ready to do everything. And if you can do me a favor, let me know in the chat. I'm still at PTSD from 2 weeks ago when I just totally thought I was live, but I wasn't live. So if you guys can see me and hear me, please let me know. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions for the chat, please leave them in. I first and foremost want to thank the channel members. There's 4 of them now. We got Christian, Mike, Corey, and oh my gosh, my mind is escaping me. Hold on. Now I feel like an idiot. And Andy was the new one. So thanks to you guys, you 4 channel members. Channel members get access to the live streams after the fact. So yeah, and I'll come up with more perks to thank you guys for being channel members. But hey, what's up, man? Thank you so much, D-Boss. Thanks for coming in. I'm glad everything sounds good. So we will dive into the live stream tonight. I did not go live last week. I had a guest on, Nikki Dupkin, and great episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. I got a lot of good feedback, especially about having local people on and just learning about regular people that are just like you and I. There was a little bit of me that was really trying to dive into like, oh, what big names can I get on the podcast? And that's never really been my style. And I'm kind of glad that somebody shook me a little bit and was like, the Andy Glazes of the world, amazing episode. But I have so many awesome people right here in my backyard. So more of that to come. So it's been 2 weeks since we've got to speak. Also, since then, I released a video today on the YouTube channel. My wife went up and did the presidential diverse. My first 4K video, I think. I bought all new editing software. I'm trying to be a big shot, I guess. But that's a song and dance for another day. Today, I want to talk. This is a race week for me. Also, tell you how training has been going, and also let you in on a couple other things that have just been driving me crazy that I've briefly talked about on Instagram, and I try never to say too much on Instagram because it is a fickle world over there on the Instagram. But this is an open forum, and this is a place for me to be an open book. So, yeah, let's dive right into that. Super thirsty. Thanks so much for giving the stream a thumbs up, guys. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Derek. Yeah, she did a really good job. She was nervous, and I was like, "You should film it." And she's like, "I don't know how to work the GoPro." This and that. I'm like, "You push the button. You push the button. That's it. I'll edit it. I'll do everything." So I'm glad you liked it, Derek. And congrats on that 4 miler, man. You smoked it. Smoked it. Derek's one of my athletes, and can't say I did any of the work, but good job crushing. Can't wait to see what the next couple of weeks look like for you. For me, in the last couple of weeks, one thing I really have been talking about, next Monday, the 8th, begins my first official block of the 16-week block going into Javelina. So everything I've been doing right now has kind of just been maintenance, staying fit. I've been doing a lot more strength. Since Canyons now, I'm up 15 pounds now. I've gained back. So definitely putting on a little bit more size, which is, we're going to talk nutrition, which is, I've been getting a lot of nutrition questions. Yes, we are doing the summer stash for all of you that are viewing live. We're going to grow the hair out. And for Javelina, I'm going to dress up as Hayden Hawk. So I have to make sure that Hayden keeps his mustache, keeps his long hair, and then maybe I'll get some Hoka clothes. And I feel like I'm going to run as Hayden Hawks in Javelina. But next week starts that 16-week block. So it's kind of been nice to be able to bounce around and do kind of whatever fitness I really wanted to. But I've been more there has been a method to the madness. And my off-season, quote-unquote off-season, has been based around incorporating more strength. Canyons, I came out of the gate hot with strength, and I did really, really good. Excuse me. But it just fell off, frankly. I just got late. It's not that I got lazy. Oh my gosh, my throat. It's not that I got lazy. The time running became a lot, and I had to prioritize like time with family versus time running and strength. So I backed off of it. And then when I tried to get back into it, like 8 weeks out, I got so sore, as one does when they start lifting again. And I was like, no, I just don't have time for this. So I backed off strength. This time I'm going to be way more committed to my strength programming. So I wanted to make sure that I'm lifting now pretty heavy and getting those sore legs and things out of the way. So that's one major change I've made over the last couple of weeks that has been going awesome. The other thing has been switching over to going time-based in my workouts for the whole week, as well as my weekly workouts during the week, my daily workouts during the week. That has actually been not as much of a transition as I thought it was going to be. It's actually been really, really, really nice. And David says in the chat, I'm really looking forward to the off season. I'm tired of training. Yeah, man. I totally get that, dude. But it's one of those things for me when I was sitting there and I'm like, oh man, once I was done with Snow Peaks, I was like, okay, I really can have a little bit of an off season here for like 4 weeks. But then I'm like, I want to get right. I had to sign up for something else, which is going to lead into this weekend. But, also too, like pacing duties that I have, that's like a race for me. Like I'm not letting Ryan down, and the other people that I'm pacing this summer. So like there's been that. But I totally get like maybe just 1 week off. The good recovery, the week after Canyons, the recovery week after Canyons was just so nice. I liked it so much. And so no, I totally understand. But I've been shooting right now. So week 1 of my training program, and I think I'm going to do an in-depth video on the channel talking about the whole plan holistically, like how I built the base mile, because I am doing self-coach this time. So how I went with my base miles into my kind of my peak miles, and then race specific stuff into taper. Maybe I'm going to do a full video about that. But the first week has me at about 8.5 hours of running. So that's kind of, I've been trying to make sure that I'm going into that with a really good base of fitness. Now, 2 weeks ago on the week of the 17th, I got 8 hours and 10 minutes. Last week, I was going to try and do 8 hours and 15 to 8 hours and 20 minutes. And I guess here's a little talking point about reality. I went out and I ran, how much did I end up running last Monday, the 24th? Last Monday, the 24th, I ended up running like 11 miles. And, guys, I totally forgot that I didn't talk to you last week. I missed a sub 25K by like 10 seconds. I went like 20:10. I totally forgot that anyway. We're breaking 20 minutes this summer. That's for damn sure. You bet your asses we're breaking 20 minutes. But I had a really good run that night. And then on Tuesday, I've been taking my rest days on Tuesday, hence why we're here right now. And then on Wednesday, I did not feel good. I started to like get queasy on my run. I ran like 5 miles, but just did not feel good. And then woke up on Thursday, the 27th, I couldn't leave the comforts of a restroom. And that was all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday. I was just no bueno. And my wife was away. So it was like I needed a sick day. So I ended up only running 19 miles last week, which I don't remember. Even the recovery week after Canyons had more than 19. I don't remember the last time, but it was one of those things where if I was in a training block, I probably would have pushed maybe on that Friday. I would have, or at least would have broke a sweat somehow. But I guess this is the benefit of being in the off season. Like I was like, I'm just going to shut it down for a couple of days and run 19 miles. No big deal. And then Sunday, I was like, today's the day. Feel good. Couple of days, I'm going to go run today. I got to the end of the block, was like, wrong. You ain't going anywhere. Run back home and you need to use the restroom. So I had a nice 4-day break. And I guess that's like the blessing of being sick. It was awesome. Like I woke up yesterday feeling good and totally recovered, which is like nice. Now, what does that mean going into the first week? You'd think, all right, I'm probably going to try and get that 8 hours in, 8:15 again. But I signed up for a race. And I kind of knew that I was going to be doing this race. We've talked about this race on the podcast before. I'm going back up to do the Red Wing Trail Challenge. It's up in LaGrangeville, New York. If you're in the Northeast, come get that smoke if you want it. We talked with Chad Kosey a bunch of weeks ago. This is the race that he lapped me in. And I told him when I interviewed that I was going to come back. Guys, only goal is not get lapped by Chad. That is the only goal of this 60K that I'm racing on Sunday. I'm taking a day trip up. It's like maybe a 2-hour trip for me. So I'm going to wake up. Race starts at 6:30. I'll get up at 4. I'll shoot up there. The race should take me 8 hours. I went 9:30 last year. I'm going to go faster than that. It's like, I don't need to worry about PRing. I am kind of curious to see how much I am going to PR, but here he is. The only goal is to not get lapped by this guy. That is it. That is there's 2 goals. First lap, I'm staying with Chad for as long as I can. I am holding on for dear life. Full send, blow up. I don't care. I am running with Chad for as long. Now it kind of winds around for maybe a half a mile and then it kind of kicks up a little bit. I have a feeling that's where my day with Chad will end. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to just getting up there. And I know that's going to be a long 8-hour effort. So I'm not going crazy this week, but I'm also not shutting it down because it is not a race for me as far as like priority. My priority is to go into week 1 of Javelina training feeling good. You know, I had that recovery day on Monday. That's the only recovery day I want or need out of this whole situation. So I went out and I ran 10 yesterday. Felt pretty good. Nice, easy pace for me. Nice and easy. And then I've also, on top of the strength work and on top of time base, guys, I never did speed work, ever. I never came out of zone 2. Maybe once every 3 weeks, I would just be like, I'm going to ship it today, you know? And I would like try and push a tempo run every once in a while. Or if I was climbing and I had like hill days, sometimes my heart rate would jump a little bit if I was pushing a hill, but I never had dedicated tempo blocks. That was not the goal in the last training block for canyons. It was get elevation and get volume up. So now I have a really good set of volume. The elevation for Javelina is somewhat manageable. The goal is speed, sub 24. The goal is speed. And I know that if I want to go sub 24, I'm going to have to incorporate speed work. It's just one of those things. So I also wanted to get my body used to that because the people that I've talked to that started incorporating speed work, it stimulates the body in a different way. Like it'll beat you up. And over the last couple of weeks that I've been doing it, it really has. Now I'm not talking like track intervals. I'm talking more like bigger tempo blocks with maybe 800 meters. Like take, for example, today's workout. If you saw the reel that I posted today, I did 25-minute warm-up and then 4x3 minutes with a 3-minute rest. So that 3 minutes is roughly an 800-meter, like all-out effort. So they were essentially 800-meter repeats. But once that going for time, that workout ended up being a little over 6.5 miles with 12 minutes of RPE 9-10. Another thing that I keep saying I'm not changing that many things for this block. So what are we up to already? We changed strength. We're going time-based. We're adding speed work. And I'm not training on heart rate anymore. I'm training on RP. Now. Hold on. Before you're like, Brad, you still coach heart rate and you've preached heart rate. Now it's not like that. It's more that I've been doing my heart rate training for so long now that I know my heart rate plus or minus 5 beats without looking at my watch. Like it's more than I'm that dialed in that I don't need to focus on it. And with this little bit of off season, I found out that if I don't use my heart rate as such a big safety blanket, I can really, really like it was holding me back. All right. So first and foremost, great question. RPE. Rate of perceived effort. Okay. So there is, instead of being like zone 1 heart rate is a percentage of your max heart rate or MAF heart rate, or using your threshold pace to determine pace, RPE is really like, dude, how'd you feel? Now there's general baseline. So they say like, and depends on what you read, right? But for general consensus is if we use a scale of 1 to 10, right? Where 1 to 2 is you just sitting on the couch. That's like no perceived effort. And then maybe like 3 to 5 is your zone 2 pace. This is conversational. This is if you were on the phone during your run, they wouldn't know you were on the phone. You can sing the lyrics. You can talk. RPE 3 to 5. Then we have like that 5 to 7 where we start to push it. Now we can talk in sentences, but we're kind of focused on it. And then like when we get to like 7 or 8, now we're thinking like, I can talk in like spurts, like, yeah, yeah, I know, whatever. And then 9 or 10 is just full send. So it's been kind of nice to think, all right, I don't have to pin myself to a heart rate. And the reason I wanted to switch to, because there was a change in the weather and the heat was a factor in my heart rate. And it kind of like, quote, threw all my zones off, things like that. But I knew just from experience And from running and analyzing my heart rate for 2 years now, straight every day, I knew that I could focus on RPE. And what I found was like, even today, when I was pushing really, really hard today, let me just see. This is a new software, guys. So I don't know if I can show you. Let me just see. Hold on. I think I can. What does this show you? Yeah. Okay. Sweet. New software. So like, let me see if I can like make this bigger. Maybe not. I'll just tell you, just because not everyone's watching, but like 167 is pretty high for me. But like my heart rate was a lot lower down here on my recoveries. All right. So what I'm really trying to say is that when I went by just straight up heart rate, I was holding myself back a little bit. I was too focused on, oh man, this is the heart rate that I need to be at. Where it was more like, dude, you feel good? You know, you're well hydrated, you're not sick. Push that heart rate a little bit today. And yeah. So those were the first two. Now I'm thinking to myself, I got 38 miles on Sunday. And I've been averaging right around 40 to 50 miles now for the last couple weeks. So with the already 17 I have on the week, I'm already at a 60-mile week. But now here's a couple of things that we're going to talk about as I kind of sidetrack, like where I've been mental health wise. I'm on summer vacation now, and I got a lot of time on my hands. And this is really the first summer in a long time where I've had free time. I've always had businesses. I've always been growing businesses and work. Usually I'd work harder over the summer than I did in my 9-to-5 job. Like there's a part of me that likes going back to work in September because I usually work so hard over summer. I also had young kids that were now home with me 24 hours a day, where now my kids are a little bit more independent. They go to camp for 3 hours in the morning. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, I probably should not be running that much, but all I have in my free time is running away from drinking. And it's been a really, really hard 2 weeks. Like, I'm choking up a little bit. My sobriety has like, I'm fighting so hard. And I'm like, do I potentially hurt myself by running too much because it's the only thing that's keeping, like, I realize like how because there's parts of me that was like, how did I just start drinking at 9 o'clock in the morning? That's, I've forgotten that, Brad. But now I'm like, shit, it's 80 degrees out and we're on the beach by 8 o'clock. Like what else? 8:30 in the morning, 9 in the morning, we're sitting by the pool. What are you going to do? The lawn is mowed. The pool is vacuumed. You got your fitness in. Let's get fucked up. And I'm so like, I know I should like take a rest day tomorrow, but then I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know how else to stay busy. And like, I also like, I don't know, it sounds like weird to say, like, I don't really have like a lot of friends. I'm in that lonely stage of like, I had to push a lot of friends away when I wanted to make a change. And like, I don't really have those connections. Like all my friends are online people. You guys are my friends. It's kind of sad, but like, and it's not a cry for help. Like I chose that and I like that. And the people that I have that are friends across the country, when I go, you see, I do dope shit, but I'm thinking ahead to this race and I don't know what to do tomorrow. And the other thing is Nikki's running 50 miles for his birthday tomorrow. I want to be a part of that. So I'm going to go run with him for a couple hours, and that will be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then maybe I'll shut it down like Thursday, Friday. I just don't know, man. Sorry. I got heavy on you there for a second. I've been struggling, guys. I got to be vulnerable with you. I've been struggling. It's, yeah. I guess this is the platform to talk. Yeah. And I'm lucky that I have people around me that give me tough love, that are stern. Like, I don't have my brothers. They're not like, Brad, you've gone 2 years, man. Like, have a beer, dude. They're not like that. They're like, no. Because I call them. I opened a beer the other day. I just stared at it on the counter. And it was just like, I couldn't believe this conversation I was having with myself the other day. I couldn't believe it. I was saying maybe like, I was thinking maybe like the honeymoon phase of sobriety is over. And I don't talk about it on Instagram because I do not want to be like, I say to my students all the time, you don't get prizes for doing things you're supposed to do. Like, they'll walk in the class and I'll be like, Finn, I did my homework last night. I'm like, cool, man. That's what you're supposed to do. And like, I hate talking about sobriety because it's what I now feel like I should be doing. So it's like, I shouldn't be like, hey, I did this, or I'm dealing with this, or I made that post yesterday only not as a cry for help, but to let everybody know that, like, because here's the other side. The other side is that, I make a lot of reels and a lot of posts and a lot of things on Instagram. And I get a lot of great feedback. And I get a lot of DMs and a lot of good messages. Whenever I make a post about sobriety, my DMs light up. Like, because it is like the one thing where, like, when you have that circle and that group of people, they know. And it's like, that's really why I hate doing it, because I feel like, like I said, I should be doing that. But I'm good. Good today. And it's just like, I never, so yesterday was 18 months, a little over 18, Christmas Eve. So like, I say the new year, but it was New Year's in 5 days. But like, I've never had a problem having alcohol in the house ever in these last year and a half. Not an issue. I host people often. People come over, I got a beer fridge in the garage. But like, this week I had to pour out a bunch of shit. I had to. And like, just had to. I just started beers that, like, because as a former brewery owner, I have also a collection of very rare, like, can't got beers. And like, I've been staring at them, knowing that like, maybe one day if I socially could drink again, I would open them up. And like, nope, I dumped them. Sorry, Joe Bruzo, if you ever listen to this. I dumped them all. I dumped the whole collection. I dumped whiskeys. Good ones. I had to. I was feeling weak. So I guess that's part of, like, I guess it's part of my story, my journey. So I guess it's okay talking about it, but that really is like, that has to do with training this week. It really does. Because I need to go for a 2-hour run tomorrow morning when my kids are at camp. I need to run. I need to. And there's only so many times I can mow the lawn. And guys, I'm on a teacher's salary. My lawn's not that big. It doesn't take me very long to mow my lawn. There's only so many times I can mow it. But I need to recover because I got a race coming up. Or even if it's not a race, even if it's a long training run, I still got a 38-mile run. I can't do a 70-mile week going into week 1. So I guess this whole week, we're going to figure it out. I'm going to go run with Nikki tomorrow. And then I think Thursday, I'm going to take my kids out on the boat. Just relax. Friday, my wife is having people over, and actually one of her best friend's husbands, he got sober, I want to say like 6 or 8 months before me. And I remember distinctly saying to him, like, dude, I'm jealous of you, man. I'm going to stop one day. I'm just jealous. And then when I finally stopped, he's like, all right, you don't have to be jealous anymore. So I'm glad he's coming by Friday. And then Saturday, we'll figure it out, man. A ton of great comments in here. Thank you so much. Andy, thanks for being a channel member, man. I don't know if you got your shout out before, but thank you so much, man. I appreciate the support, being a channel member. Yeah, Dave, like, yeah, every day, man. Every day. Josh brings up a good one. Like, are you still doing NA options to help the temptations? Yes. I'm so torn on like how to like feel about this. It's like, I know some people are against it. Not so much like against it, but like some people think that it feeds the temptation too much, where like people will get upset that they're not getting what they want out of that. Like, right? Usually when we drink to get drunk. I'm lucky enough where I genuinely like the art of beer making, and I like the taste, and I like trying things. So like I have that curiosity, which allows me to drink NA beers and not miss or feel deprived of getting drunk. They do help me more in social situations than at home. So, for example, like if I go to a barbecue, I'll bring a 6-pack of Heineken Zeros just so I have something to hold on to, so I don't have to talk to people about why I'm not drinking, because they don't know. I put in a koozie, they don't know. But at home it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. But I do lean on them. I think they're a good thing. Derek, that's a great point, man. I should get on the bike. You know what, Derek? That's what I'm going to do. Thanks, coach. You are absolutely correct. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ride my bike this week. But that aside, and I did say there is nutrition in the title. I'm going to tell you nutrition. But I just want to wrap that up. So, yeah, if you're in the Northeast and you want to come race, small race, I think 28 people will be racing on Sunday. And then Javelina, what that looks like. So here's what an 8.5-hour week is going to look like week 1. So next week when we go live, I'll be in this block. So I'm doing a time trial on Tuesday, the 9th. And that's just going to give me all of my blocks. More Ironman prep. Yes, I'm going to do the Ironman. On the 10th, so that I'm going to do like a 12-minute time trial with a warm-up cool down. It's going to be about 5 minutes, 45 minutes or so. Hour and 15-minute easy run on Wednesday. Then I'm going to have an easy hard like today. So what I wanted to say before trying to make this reel an hour long this morning was all of my speed work is going to be a variations of easy and hard blocks, different rep counts, and time domains to equal a total time under duress. So like today, when I did 4x3, that was 12 minutes of stress. Next week, I'm going to do 6x2. Same 12 minutes of stress, but a different stimulus. Probably going to have to hammer it a little bit longer. That workout should take me about an hour and 15 minutes. Then on Friday, we have another hour and 15, and then right into 3-hour long runs with a 1-hour long run on Sunday. Now that makes things a little bit crazy right off the bat, because I'm going to get that 8.5 hours, but then I go up to New Hampshire into the White Mountains because I'm pacing a 100-miler. I'm pacing Jigga Johnson, and they just changed the course, so my pacing duties just went up a little bit. They extended the course and lowered the vert, so I think they pushed that race now to 116 miles from 112, I want to say. So week 2 is, I don't know, the first couple of weeks of training blocks going to be freaking crazy, but I am so pumped to pace 100 milers. So that's for the next 2 weeks. And then I'm going to get Ryan is going to be probably the next guest that we get on the podcast. The guy who paced me in my 100, and now I'm going to go pace him. I'm probably going to bring the microphones and stuff and sit and talk with him. And he'll probably be the next guest that you hear from. So that's kind of fitness. We're going to be running 8.5 hours. And I guess a long way of saying vary your training if you need to. This is completely different than I did for canyons. But what I realized is that I could take a lot of similarities from both and not micromanage things so carefully. For example, like in the canyons block, I went for vert. This one, I went for speed. But they all equated to a certain amount of time per week. And they still equated to a certain amount of stress score per week. And they still were raced focused. So like if I can get out of my head that I need to hit a certain mileage and just say I'm going to hit time, whether that time is me climbing or whether that time is me running hard for speed, everything at the end of the day is still going to be the same. I think if I were to overlay my hours from my canyons block on top of my hours from this block, I think we'll see that they'll be pretty similar. Because 12.5 hours is really all I have. And I think that's what I want to peak out at, about 12.5 hours. I don't see it changing. I don't see me being able to add more time than that. I just don't. But yeah. So that's it this week. And then New Hampshire 2 weeks. So lots to talk about and a lot more guests to have on. Before we wrap this up, please, if you have any questions, I just want to apologize again for talking about the sobriety thing. I just needed to get that off my chest. And I'm not going to lie, I feel better. I feel a lot better about it. I just needed to tell somebody that I was being weak. I needed to say that I was struggling. I did. And I've said it now, and it's in the ether, and it's all right. So now I'm going to move on. The thing I want to move on to is nutrition. A question I get so much, more than what's the shirt that I'm wearing in all my reels. What's that shirt you're wearing? First, race nutrition. I'm completely on with Tailwind now. It is what I'm taking, not sponsored. So no waffles in the summer. They're falling apart. They'll be back in the fall. I love them. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Yeah, they'll be back in the fall. It's just too hot. And Awesome Sauce, we saw that they released an apology. They changed the nutrition info, but kept the price pretty much the same. So no, those are going to be out for me. The Cis Beta Fuels have been going amazing. This weekend I'm going to be racing on, and it'll be my first race to really try out an 8-hour effort on just Tailwind and Cis Beta Fuel. Okay. What do I eat during the day? What is my daily nutrition? Because for those of you that have been around from the personal finance days, you guys know I'm going to say this word out loud, and I apologize. Triggers more people than saying the word Trump. I was vegan for 6 years, and so people know that side, and they're not really sure when I switched back. And the reason you don't really know when I switched back is because A, it was none of your fucking business. But two, it wasn't like a day that I was like, I'm not vegan anymore. I just dabbled in things just like most people do that come off of it. I dabbled in things like eggs here and there, and then I dabbled in fish, and then I did things like that. But and then my coach was the low carb runner. So everyone thought I was going to be a low carb guy, which he never, ever talked nutrition unless I brought it up. So that was an issue. And I also mentioned I've been gaining some weight. I've been gaining some weight because I'm lifting. I have upped my protein. But as far as like a general picture, guys, I eat everything. I am not monitoring my nutrition. I do not weigh or proportion my food out. When I'm hungry, I eat, and I eat as much food as I need to eat until I'm not hungry anymore. And for a long time doing that, I couldn't even keep weight on. I feel like when you start hitting 50 miles or like, let's call it 10 hours a week, if you're running more than an hour per day, you can eat probably whatever you want and not be able to keep weight on. Now, when I say whatever I want, I've always, especially coming off the plant-based thing, I've always been a somewhat clean eater. I do not have a sweet tooth. If anything, I have a salt tooth. Like, give me French fries and gravy before ever giving me birthday cake. Like, don't have a sweet tooth. Do not care about ice cream, cookies, cakes. Soda really doesn't do it for me. Like, so I've been blessed by that. But like, when my wife cooks, like she cooked chicken the other night. Dude, I don't even know how much chicken. I eat a lot of chicken. Or like, if I want to have a bowl of Cheerios, I have 5 bowls of Cheerios. I'm still dairy free. Dairy's disgusting, but I am a soy milk kind of guy. Some people think that's disgusting, but I think, yeah, when you get to 10 hours, you don't need to think about it. And that's got to be a little bit of my weight gain because I'm under 10 hours now and I'm still eating like I was because it's nice. It is freaking nice when you can just crush food and not gain weight, especially if I was 240 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds. Like, walking around at 155, it was like, and just eating whatever I wanted. It was a little bit of a mind mess. So, I mean, maybe I cut down on food a little bit, but like not a ton. I eat. I am an eater. Like, I could tell you stories. In Vegas, there's this thing called the B3 burrito. Crushed that. It was like a 5-pound burrito. At the Heart Attack Grill, I ate the quadruple bypass burger the day after the Ironman. I can eat. And I'm sorry to let people down, but that's really the nutrition plan. Eat when I'm hungry and try and eat clean. Today, I had 2 pieces of toast with peanut butter and honey and a banana, my standard breakfast. My breakfast on the go is Creatures of Habit. That's what I'll eat probably race day. And then really throughout the day, I had my greens and my reds. We don't need to talk companies. That doesn't really much matter. I had a protein shake after my lift and my run today, which I don't know how many grams. I don't know how many grams of protein it really is. I don't care. It's 2 scoops of protein powder. It was the BPN one. I don't know how many grams of protein are in there. I did get on creatine, like 5 grams of creatine every single day. I felt like it just helped me recover a little bit better. And it also is holding a little bit more water weight now in the summer for me, so I'm not getting dehydrated as easily. But that's really the only like supplements that I take. And then I very rarely just drink plain water. I'm always on some sort of electrolyte during the day, drinking water. I've had no other fluids today besides coffee, a ton of it, and the little bit of soy milk that I put in my protein smoothie. For dinner, oh, what did we have for dinner? For dinner, we had, what did she make? She made tortellini. So we had like tortellini. I probably had a half a loaf of Italian bread and these little like meatballs that I'm crushing food. People ask me like how many calories you eat. No idea. And if you want to live that life, run 10 hours a week. That's really all I got to say about that. But yeah. Oh man, Andy, I'm looking at the chat. I forgot you got a little 1 mile placard. I think the biggest like little plaque is I think 10K now. I think Christian has a 10K plaque. But so that's the nutrition. Eat. And I will say I've been eating more on smaller runs. Jacob, who's on vacation, he's always in the chat. I saw him running like a 8-mile run and he had like a water bottle with him, like a handheld. And I'm like, dude, you bring water for 8 miles? And he's like, are you going to run 8 miles in a race without taking a sip of water? I'm like, no. He's like, so why would you do it in training? I'm like, because I'm lazy? He's like, nah, it's dumb. So he's like, I put Tailwind for a 3-mile run. Always training the gut. And I'm like, that, sir, is why you're just faster than me. But yeah, it's so I've been doing a lot more of that during runs, and I think you should too. I think you should take in more water and start eating on shorter runs, especially in this heat. And it's been kind of crappy because nobody likes to eat in the heat. But yeah, so I've been doing that as far as nutrition is concerned. Hope that kind of like answers some of the nutrition questions. Do you guys have any other questions? I know it's a shorter little episode tonight, but we'll have a lot more to talk to after the race next week, talking about PR now. But if you have any last minute questions, please leave them in the chat, and then we'll try and get you out of here. Also, too, if you're listening, if you can give the stream a thumbs up, that would be great. I'd greatly appreciate thumbs up. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for me tonight. And I hope you have a great 4th of July. Oh, Christian's got a question. Thanks, buddy. Let me bring this in, because this is the good one. With the 10K, I was just talking about your 10K badge. You know what that means, brother? You were the first channel member, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, so thoughts on salt tabs. David, I think there's probably a link it says like join. Let me see what you say. Frank, I don't really even know, to be honest. Maybe they could tell you. Hold on, I hope this doesn't make volume. I'm just going into the video or the live stream right now. View your channel. So like you'll see like next to my face, it'll say join. You can do that if you want to get down and get your little badge. Okay, so let me do this again. Thoughts on salt tabs. Love them for what they need. I don't know how to say this. I love them, but they serve a certain purpose. Here are the pros and cons for me. Pros. Very, very good measure of exactly how many milligrams of whatever you're getting. Con. You got to carry them. And they get wet or whatever, they're a mess. Another con. And this is really the con why I don't take them in. What I found is for a long time, I did not understand the concept of milligrams of sodium per liter per hour. Meaning, all of the sodium that comes into our system needs to be diluted by a certain amount of water. And a liter is just a good measure. And what I found with salt tabs, before I knew this, right, I would feel a cramp or I'd feel something not right. And I'd be like, I'm low on sodium. So I'd try and play catch up. And I would dump 4 or 5 salt pills or salt tabs into my hands. I would throw them on my mouth. I would take a swig of water, swallow them down, wash them down, and think that I just caught up on sodium. Turns out I'd leave the aid station. I would get sick, like virtually within 10 minutes. And that was because I did not understand milligrams per liter per hour. So I think with salt tabs is if you are not taking in enough water, they will make you sick. And I see it more in the winter than the summer. Why? Because in the winter, we're not drinking as much fluids. We're not sweating. It's not hot. Like, we just drink less fluid in the winter, but we hear like, I need 800 milligrams of sodium per hour. And it's been an hour. So I need to take these 2 pills that have 800 milligrams. But meanwhile, you've only drank a half a liter of water. And then your stomach gets all effed up and people are like, why? So I like powder just because it's mindless. I can't bring in those milligrams of sodium if I don't drink the water that they're mixed with, if you feel me on that. Now, the con of that. Sometimes you don't want to taste salted watermelon, or sometimes you don't want to taste, lemon lime or whatever flavor electrolyte that you're drinking, that element is plugging onto you. Not you, just, you know what I mean? So I found a flavorless. It pretty much just makes salt water. But now, what I can do, because I know more about it, is now if I don't want to mix, like I'm like, I just need water in my bottles, which isn't really going to happen anymore anyway, because I'm putting Tailwind in. But what I was doing was when I finished a half a liter, because each one of those little soft flasks I have is a half a liter. When I would finish a soft flask, I knew I had that much water in my system, I would pop a pill. And I could not pop a salt tab until that liter was gone, right? So now what that allows me to do is the faster I'm drinking water, the more salt tabs I can bring in. The same as if I had them mixed in to my bottles. The more water I drink, it's mixed with electrolytes. So that's what I mean when I say like they serve a purpose, but they have their pros and their cons. And a really, really bad con is taking in or trying to play catch up when you're not like, and that goes for any salt. Like if you're like, oh man, I need salt, and you start sucking the salt off pretzels, or you start banging in chips and you're dehydrated, you're screwed, man. That's why pickle juice, maybe it's disgusting and I can't take it because it reminds me of taking pickleback shots back in the day. But like, at least there's some liquid there to dilute that salt. So if you're going to do salt pills, or you're going to be a salt tabs kind of guy or girl, make sure that it's per liter per hour. And a good place to start is like 750 to 800 per liter per hour. In the winter, I drink a little less than a liter per hour. Now I'm at like 1.5 to almost 2 liters per hour in this heat and humidity. So like I said, 758 to start. If you are somebody that gets back from runs, and I'm not a doctor, by the way, this is all just my personal experience. If you have like the salt rings on your shirts and your whole hat is covered in salt and your face feels like sandpaper, you might be in that 1,000 to 1,200 or even more. I'm at 1,200. I shoot for 1,200 milligrams per liter per hour. But salt and salt consumption, just like anything, is very, very personal. That's what training's for. That's what long runs are for. Long runs are not for miles. They're for time on feet and figuring out gear and nutrition and where you're going to chafe and which toe hurts in this shoe and what sock works best and where are you going to carry your GoPro, because you should be documenting everything. All right. Hope that answers the question, buddy. Do we have any other questions in the chat tonight? This flow is going to get legit. Hayden Hawks, I'm coming for your flow, bro. See, I'm wearing it. I got all my Recovery Strong stuff on. Just constant reminder. Right on, man. And once again, thank you so much for the support, bro. Appreciate you. All right. We had highs. We had lows. We had some tears. Good little episode tonight. I'll catch you guys later. I hope you enjoy your 4th of July. Be safe. Be sober. If you're not going to, geez, get a ride. Call Uber. Somebody. That's all I ask. All righty? All right, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you again. I'll see you over on Instagram.